and subtract like mixed fraction. So let's look at the addition of like mixed fraction. If you are to add the like mixed fraction, let's say we are to add 2 whole number 1/5 plus 3 whole number 2/5. If we are to add mixed fractions like this, because they are having the same denominators, these two mixed fractions are like mixed fractions. How can we add like mixed fraction? The question is, let's try to identify the whole numbers in each fraction. What is the whole number here? 2. What is the whole number here? 3. So we are going to add the whole numbers together. So 2 plus 3, we are adding. So 2 plus 3 gives me 5. After adding the whole numbers, add the fractions in each mixed fraction. This is the fraction here, this is also the fraction here. So I'm going to add 1/5 plus 2/5. Now, because the denominators of these two fractions are the same, there is no need for me to find my LCM. So I'm just going to write 1 because they are the same. So I'll pick 1 as my LCM and just add the numerators. This gives me 1 plus 2. This is the numerator, this is the numerator. When we were in class 6, we were taught numerator, denominators, and the whole number in a fraction. So adding my numerators will give me 3/5. This fraction is already in its simplest form, so I will not have to simplify this in its lowest form. I will leave my answer like this. But remember, your question was given to you in a mixed fractional form. So what do? When we added the whole number, we add 5. When we added the fraction, we had 3 out of 5. So this means that 2 whole number 1/5 plus 3 whole number 2/5 gives me your whole number 5 whole number, then your fraction 3/5. This becomes your final answer for this operation. And let's say we are to also add a mixed fraction like 8 whole number 3/6 plus 3 whole number 4/6. These two mixed fractions are said to be like. Why? Because they have the same denominators. So this having the same denominators, it makes these two mixed fractions like mixed fraction. How can I add these two like mixed fractions together? Let's first try to identify our whole numbers in each fraction. The whole number here is 8, and the whole number here is 3. So this gives me the whole number 3 plus the whole number 8 plus the whole number 3. We did this in class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. What is 8 plus 3? 8 plus 3 gives me 11. So I've added my whole numbers. Now I'm left with my fractions. 3/6 plus 4/6. When you look at this fraction, fractions, they are having the same denominators. What did we say here? If the denominators are the same, you are going to pick 1. So because the denominators are the same, 6, I'll pick 1 as my LCM. Picking 1, then what I have to do next is to just add my numerators. What are the numerators? 3 and 4. So I'm going to add 3 plus 4. The question is, what is 3 plus 4? Or 3 added to 4 gives us what? Nothing but 7, then over the denominator, 6. When I look at this fraction, 7/6, the numerator is greater than the denominator. But this one, the denominator was rather greater than the numerator, so I had nothing to do about it. But this one, I can do something about it. Why? This fraction is improper fraction. Well, we were in class 5, we were taught improper, that's the types of fractions. So I have to convert this improper fraction into mixed fraction by asking myself, 6 will go into 7 how many times? Or in other words, 6 times what will give me 7? When I reset my 6 times table, I have 6, 1, 6. 6, 2 is 12. That means 6 can go into 7, 1, and it will leave the remainder of 1. So 6 will go into 7, 1 time, and it will leave the remainder of 1 out of 6. So I have converted this improper into mixed. Now, you will bear witness that when we added the whole numbers, we had 11. And when we converted this one into mixed, we had one whole number, 1 over 6. So this being a whole number and this being also being a whole number, I'm going to add this whole number to this whole number. That is 11 plus 1. It gives me 12. So my answer for 8 whole number, 3 over 6 plus 3 whole number, 8 whole number, 3 over 6 plus 3 whole number, 4 over 6 becomes 11 plus 1, 12 whole number, then our fraction 1 over 6. And this becomes the answer for this addition of like mixed fraction. Let's look at the last example under the addition of like mixed fraction. Let's say we are to add, let's say, 5 whole number, 3 over 7, plus 2 whole number, 4 over 7. And to add these two mixed fractions, the question is, first identify your whole numbers in both fractions. My whole number here is 5. The whole number here is 2. So I'm going to put the whole numbers together. And that is 5 plus 2. 5 plus 2 gives me 7. Then I'll pick my whole number, my fractions. 3 over 7 plus 4 over 7. Because the denominators are the same, I'm going to pick 1 and just add my numerators. So this becomes 3 plus 4. If you have 3 and you add 4 to it, it gives you 7. So this is equal to 7 over 7. When I look at this carefully, I can say that 7 can go into itself 1. So this 7 will cancel 1. This is 1. And this gives me 1 over 1, which is equal to 1. Now when I added my fractions, I had one whole number. And when I added my whole numbers, I had 7. So I will add this whole number to this 7. And 7 plus 1 gives me 8. So the answer for this addition is equal to 8. And this is how we add like mixed fraction. The first thing that you do is to add your whole numbers. When you finish, add the fractions. When you add the fractions, you add your whole numbers, then you bring them closer to each other to give you the whole number, the fraction over the fraction. Now let's talk about the subtraction. How can we perform the subtraction of like mixed fraction? To perform the subtraction of a like mixed fraction, it says that change the mixed fraction into improper fraction. To do the subtraction of like mixed fraction, change the mixed fraction into improper fraction, and then you subtract. So if I'm to change, let's say, 3 whole number, 2 over 3, then change it into improper before you subtract. I'm going to multiply my whole number times the denominator. 3 times 3. This gives me 9. And I'll add my numerator, which is 2. And this gives me 11. So to change this one into improper gives me 11 over 2. So if I give you the mixed fraction, before you can subtract, you have to change the mixed fraction into improper fraction. Now let's say we are to subtract a fraction like 3 whole number, 2 over 3 minus 2 whole number, 1 over 2. We have to subtract a fraction like this. It says that if it is like mixed fraction, if it is like because the denominators are the same. Denominator here is 3, denominator here is also 3. It says that before you can subtract, change the mixed fraction into improper. How can I change the mixed fraction into improper? First, multiply the whole number times the denominator. Whatever you get, add the numerator to it. So the whole number times the denominator will give me 9. Plus my numerator gives me 11 over 3. Sorry, here is 2 because the denominator here is 3. Then minus whole number times denominator. 2 times 3 is 6. Plus your numerator, 7 over 3. So I have changed these two mixed fractions into improper. Now when you are done changing, you see that the denominators are the same. Then what you are going to do is to just look for your LCM. But here, because the denominators are the same, I'm going to pick 1 and just subtract my numerators. And what is 11 minus 4? 11. If I take away 4, I'm left with 11. I'm left with 4 out of 3. So if I take 7 out of 11, I'm left with 4. Now this 4 over 3 is improper. Why? The numerator is greater than the denominator. So how many times would the denominator go into the numerator? 1, and it will leave a remainder of 1. So this gives me a final answer of 1 whole number, 1 out of 3. So for you to subtract the like mixed fraction, first change the like mixed fraction into improper, then you do your subtraction. Now let's say we are to subtract 7 whole number. We have to subtract 7 whole number, 4 over 5 minus 6 whole number, 2 over 5. We have to subtract this. We have 7 whole number, 4 over 5 minus 6 whole number, 2 over 5. They are having the same denominators. Same denominators, then it says that if the denominators are the same and are like mixed fraction, change the mixed fraction into improper and you subtract. So I'll multiply my whole number times 5. 5, 7 is 35. Plus your numerator gives me 39. So 39 over 5 minus whole number times denominator. 6, 5, 30. Plus your numerator 2. That gives me 32 over 5. I have changed this mixed fraction into improper fraction. Then I will just have to find my LCM. Because the denominators are the same, I'm going to pick 1 and just subtract 39 minus 32. You have 39. You have to take 32 away from 39. If I take 32 away from 39, I'm left with 7 out of 5. And when you look at the answer carefully, the numerator is greater than the denominator. So ask yourself, 5 will go into the numerator how many times? 1, and it will leave a remainder of 2. So my final answer becomes 1 whole number, 2 over 5. And this is how you subtract like mixed fraction. When you have to subtract like mixed fraction, what you are going to do is that, change the mixed fraction into improper, then you subtract. That is like mixed fraction when you are doing the subtraction. But when you are doing the addition, what you are going to do is that for addition like mixed fraction, group the whole numbers, add them, and add your fractions. If you add your fraction and it is proper fraction, if you can simplify to its lowest form, you simplify. If you can't, you leave it. So you compare your whole number to the fraction and it gives you this. But if you, example 3 here, if you add and you see that the numerator can also cancel the denominator, giving you a whole number 1, you add this whole number to the whole number here. Or whenever you add a fraction and you get a whole number, any whole number you have to add it to this whole number. And this is how you do the addition and subtraction of like mixed fraction. Thank you for staying tuned. Next week, God willing, we'll continue with the addition and subtraction. And next week, we'll talk about on like mixed fraction. Thank you for watching. See you, God willing, next week. Please don't forget to subscribe and leave or comment and like the video. This is easy mathematics. Indeed, mathematics always makes sense. Thank you. Bye-bye.